The sun is out. It's humid though. This is the first we've seen the sun really in 3 days. We had 3 days of really stormy weather, a couple feet of snow up high, and lots of rain here in the valley. So it's nice to get out and get some sun, get on the trails. I am entering Grand Teton National Park via Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. I'm gonna do an out and back, just on nice single track today. It's gonna be nice and moist because of the rain, but perfect conditions. I've got a client tomorrow and another client the next day here at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. And so I'm just checking out trails, inbounds at the resort, see what's open, see what we can do tomorrow. I have a 16-year-old cross-country runner coming in. I think she's coming in from Missouri. Not quite, can't remember about that, but we're gonna do a 90-minute session on the trails at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort and kind of pick apart her run form and some racing strategy and mental strategy. So kind of a little bit of everything, which is really fun for me, to have new people come in, and especially young runners who are racing this fall. But want to touch on a few things, and then I am headed back into Jackson Hole Mountain Resort to do hill repeats today, and we'll do more coaching there. But I wanted to touch on shoes and nutrition first. Like I've promised, I kind of want to start reviewing kind of what I'm doing on an ongoing basis, so you guys kind of have just an ongoing understanding of nutrition and shoes. So first off, I'm using the La Sportiva Kaptiva shoes today. These are a 6 mil drop, 260 grams, test size 9 US. So I would say in the middle ground of lightness, not super light, what I'm used to, and not super heavy, but they're kind of positioned as an all-round mountain shoe. And I'm still in search of kind of like a shoe that I can just, let me back up. I've really, in the past couple of years, really searched out kind of the lightest shoe that allows me the protection I need in the mountains. And what I've found through this process is that even though they feel great, I've slowly come to realize that on the descents, and even some of the uphill, and I'm starting to dance around rock and obstacles, and that's okay sometimes, but I'm finding that, again, slowly, especially on a descent, that it's slowing me down. And I'm in search now of a shoe that allows me to have a lot of confidence from protection to go on things, over things, on top of things, rather than around things to speed up. And this is just, again, something I've noticed that it just kind of accumulated that I've been aware of. And so I'm hoping that maybe this La Sportiva Kaptiva shoe is that shoe that gives me a little bit more confidence really bombing down very technical, rocky mountain terrain. So this is a true mountain shoe. Interesting enough, though, and why I'm really interested in trying this out, is that Claire Gallagher won Western States 100 in this shoe. So again, a 6 mil drop, which is kind of the threshold that I like to go up to. And so she ran 100 miles in this shoe and won. And so I'm anxious to kind of see how this does from an endurance standpoint as well. And it's a little bit more shoe than I'm used to. So for me, it's endurance wise and protection wise and all day wise, I think it could serve a really, really great purpose as the high country starts to open up and I put more long days up in high scree, true alpine environment. So, but what I'm noticing today is that even on buffed out single track, it rides really, really nicely. I bought this last fall and didn't put a whole lot of time into it, because when I slipped it on, I had this sensation of kind of in the midfoot of stability, built-in stability, and I didn't like that. So I was really shy about even just kind of trying it. But this spring, I've started to put it on a little bit more on some test runs, and what's interesting is that even though you slip on the shoe and you feel that stability in the midfoot, as soon as you start running, it really kind of goes away, and it's a really, really great ride. And La Sportiva have always been a big shoe choice of mine way back, maybe 10 years ago, when they actually were one of the first companies to make a mountain shoe that was on the minimal side. It was called the Slingshot, and it was one of my favorite shoes ever. And through the years, though, they started to steer away from more natural, lower to the ground shoe, and which is why I kind of steered away from it. But they've always fit me really, really well. One of the best fitting shoes for me with my narrow feet. So I'm anxious to continue to put it through the ringer, and I'm going to continue to update you on this. Like I said, I bought this shoe. Like I've mentioned in other videos, I don't receive sponsorship. I don't accept sponsorship. There'll be some times that I want to test a shoe that I think that will maybe work to suggest to my athletes that I don't think will work for me, that I will contact the company and maybe ask them to test it out. But if it's a shoe that I think will work for me, I will always buy it. And so everything I'm saying is just my experience helping you to pick the finest shoes for you. So, all right, that's shoes. Let's dive into nutrition real quick. So the last 2 days leading up to today were nice, easy recovery runs for me around the neighborhood on trail. I think they're up to about an hour. So nice and easy, just in between storms. And so I've got good recovery. Today, like I said, I'm doing hard hill repeats, 3 minutes of variety. Okay, so really hard 3-minute intervals. So last night I had a spinach salad with a blend of a variety of sprouts that were locally grown on the spinach salad, cucumbers, tomatoes, and avocado. With that, I had a chickpea burger. My daughter loves chickpea burgers, so I make those quite a bit, homemade chickpea burgers. And so that was my meal last night, a good blend of carbs, fat, and protein. I didn't need to go heavy on any one, so it was just a good blend of all three, which is what I wanted coming into today after recovery. This morning, I'm getting a late start, so it's 10:30 in the morning. So I had about 2 hours ago, I had a bowl of oatmeal with bananas, nuts, blueberries, and that was it. A little chia sprinkled on top. So again, a little bit more carb heavy, or very carb heavy, to fuel my harder effort today. So that's what I've done the last 2 days with the nutrition. And like I said, I'll continue to kind of put this out there so you can kind of get a sense for what I do on any given day, because nutrition's very personal, very custom to you. And it really also depends on what you're doing leading up to the workout and what you did the day before, the couple days before. So, all right, I'm off the rock and I'm back on the trail. I got a nice warm up in, and I'm headed back in, and I'm gonna do some hill repeats. So we'll see you there and do some more coaching. The good thing about damp terrain is that it looks like I'm following a moose. It's pretty fresh, so yeah, we're gonna follow it up the trail and see where he or she goes. Headed to the hill for hill repeats. Wow, that was good. 6 repeats up varied terrain, but you can see it's not very technical at all. So I'm able to really get some speed, but again, it kind of rolls where I'm flat a little bit, then it kicks up. So I'm having to always change my speed, which is good. So yes, 2 days ago, I got, you gotta love it, one short little sentence question on YouTube. What happens if you have glute pain? And that was the question. So it makes me really appreciate those of you guys who first start off with a thank you for the videos and how much you appreciate them, and then ask your question. So this one sentence question was very not specific at all. So one clue also, if you have a really good question, try to be as specific as possible. There's so many reasons why you could have glute pain, but it got me thinking. And during this pandemic, a lot of us has probably been sitting more than usual, or maybe not, maybe just the opposite. You're not sitting as much, but I've actually been sitting a little bit more than usual. Anyways, I wanted to address what tends to happen when we do sit a lot, or that our glutes kind of go dormant and we're not using them for stability and power. And I'm going to set the camera down and explain this with some pointers, but keep in mind that most times when we're dealing with the glute, we always hear how important glute stability is, and it's very, very important. And a lot of times, most times, the problem is not that you're lacking strength, but through time you haven't used the glute medius, your stabilizing muscle of the glute, very well, and it goes dormant. It doesn't work as well. It's like flipping a switch and turning the light switch off. And so stretching very rarely will help with this, even though you're feeling tight. So I'm going to give you the remedy today to really, one, troubleshoot it and see if this can help you, and then secondly, give you a simple exercise to help with it. Before my run today, I went through my foot strength exercise program and muscle activation program that's in my book. And if you haven't bought my book yet, you should. It's a good one. But I always have my athletes kind of do a variety of those activation exercises prior to a run like I'm doing today. What am I doing today? I'm doing hard hill repeats where I'm going to need a lot of range of motion. So I wanted to activate my muscles, turn the muscles on, get good range of motion on them, so I'm able to have really good knee height and drive on these hard hill repeats. So if you always have chronic tight glutes, that's going to inhibit your ability to gain speed. And I'm going to set the camera down and show you this. So if we have a lot of tightness in our glute, that's not going to allow us to get this range of motion. And that might be okay when we're running nice and easy, where we're not asking our range of motion to get up to that tightness. But if we're going to the track or doing hill repeats or wanting to run fast, when our range of motion is way up here, that tightness is going to hold us from getting that range of motion. And if that tightness, let's say you just come to here, well, now you're going to start to reach out, which you don't want to do with your run form. Okay, so again, if that tightness kind of blocks you right here, and you start to feel a lot of tightness in through here as you're running, it's probably a glute issue. Okay, so one thing we want to do is you want to, with yourself right at the top of the glute, you want to poke around and start massaging the top of the glute right here. And really dig in there. You'll probably find that it's quite tender, quite sore once you start getting in there. And I like to use a ball, maybe a soft ball with a towel over it to make it not quite as harsh, and roll your whole glute area with that ball. A foam roller, anything foam, tends to be too general. You need something that's round, that you can roll the whole area of the glute. Okay, so the common area that you're going to feel the tightness is maybe more in the low glute hamstring attachment right here, and that tends to be the area that most people feel the restriction. But that tightness starts here and works its way down, and again, because you're running, the range of motion is really significant where your glute attaches to your hamstring. So that's really where you're going to feel it. But again, the problem might be more up in here from sitting, okay, versus even though you're feeling it here. So use the softball, get a ball, roll the glutes really well, focus on all the areas that are really tender. And again, really start up high and work your way all around. You know, you might be a little different where you find the soreness. So work that out first, and then you're gonna do this exercise I call the run squat, okay? And what this is gonna do is it's gonna activate your glute, especially your glute medius, which is right about here for stability, stabilizes things, which again can go dormant because you're not able to use it because you have poor range of motion, okay? So roll it, massage it, use a ball first, break all up the adhesion, and then do the run squat, okay? So I like to start up here so I can get my hands sequenced. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna row up. Okay? I do anywhere from 20 to 40, where I go to the point where I really start to feel a lot of fatigue in the glute medius. Okay, do it from the front. Again, I like to start so you're sequencing your arms, opposite arm to knee, go down, up. I'm on uneven ground, so it's even more of a challenge. Okay, nice and controlled. We're not just repping it out. You want to have good form, okay? And the key when I do this at home is I'm either doing this on a variety of balancing devices, maybe a BOSU or balancing discs. But if you don't have any of that, always work barefoot. You know, I'm out here on the turf. I could take my bare feet or take my shoes off, but you get the idea. When you're doing these at home, do them barefoot. No reason why you can't go out and do this before your workout either, while you're out on the trail or out on the road, to activate things. Get your warm up in, or even do it before your warm up to activate things and get that range of motion. So again, now I'm activating, and now I'm getting more than a range of motion that I'm gonna need for running, and it will release everything in through here. So now you'll start to not feel all that tug and pull that goes all the way down the hamstring from your tight glute, okay? And I'll leave you with that this is not a hamstring tightness issue. What you'll find is that once you release the glute through the deep tissue work and the exercise, that releases the hamstring, okay? So more times than not, this is a glute issue, probably from sitting, okay? So give that a try, play around with it. Again, leave me comments, let me know what works, what doesn't, because that helps everybody, okay? And ask specific questions. All right, I'm headed downhill. Thanks for watching as always. Time to cool down and get on with my day. Thanks for always for watching. See ya.